Here's one thing I've learned about being a great project manager. It has very little to do with tools, templates, and dashboard. Anyone can create a Gantt chart. Anyone can navigate their tasks in their to-do list. But it takes a great project manager to understand, to manage people when things fall apart. And in today's video, I'm going to highlight that habit, that emotional intelligence, how you can navigate your things and manage your own and still stay consistent in that process. And these are habits that are built upon practice. These are habits that if you start today, if you start in this very same moment, you can build them and you can lead teams. Because I've come to realize that managing projects requires a lot of leadership skills. It requires a lot of tolerance. There are habits that you have to accept them, that this is the reality of who I am. These are the people I'm dealing with, and I need to understand them. Let's stay together, and in today's video, we are going to get this through. You bear with me that each time you are working on a project or you are embarking on a project, you always start with a meeting. But there is something unusual that project managers don't understand. Talking doesn't move projects. Talking doesn't get projects done. But decisions do get those projects done. And every project manager, every great project manager understands this. That each time you're walking into a meeting, there is a question that you need to ask yourself. What decision are we making today? Because if you don't go with that mindset, you're going to end up coming back to where you started from, and you're going to leave that room without taking a decision. And when you don't take a decision in a meeting, you have just had a conversation with people. Conversations don't get things done. Conversations don't get projects done. But what does get a project done is decision. When you enter in a project room, having that mindset shift of, oh, we're going to take this decision, that is what getting projects done. Let me give you for example. If you walk into a board meeting, you walk into that meeting and everyone is complaining. They are giving updates, they are sharing their problems, they are blaming bloggers. What a great project manager does is the great project manager listens and then comes up with questions. 3 questions. All right, what are we doing now? All right, what can we do differently? All right, who is accountable for this? Who's going to take ownership for this? But do you know what a normal PM does? A normal project manager just listens and move on. And in that moment, leadership is not demonstrated. Projects are being broken down. People are being frustrated. They don't know their way forward. So you need to be that project manager who has a mindset of going into a meeting with a decision to make. Decision A, this person is going to do this. Decision B, this person is responsible for this. Decision C, this person is accountable for it. That is the mindset that great project managers work with in a meeting. And this is one thing that I've come to understand about great project managers too. They take feedback as a strategy. But one thing about normal project managers is they take feedback as attacking their personality, which is not good. A great project manager sees it differently. They see it purposefully. They see that feedback as information, and that information is being turned into clarity. Once you have that clarity, that is when you come up with a strategy. As a great project manager, you don't need to see feedback as attacking your personality. So instead of asking, why are you attacking me? Why do you think that I went the wrong way? You should see this. What is this telling me about my project? What is this telling me about the risks? What is this telling me about my stakeholders? How can I communicate differently? How can I manage their emotions? How can I communicate clearly? That is what feedback means. Because in that moment, that is where you see trust. That is where you see clarity. That is where you bring that emotional intelligence. And that is where people feel valued. In that moment, you can achieve great things. So the next time you have that scenario where you have to accept feedback, you have to say, yes, I'm wrong, and this is my problem. I think from here we can move to this other level. You should use it as a strategy. Don't see feedback as attacking your personality. See it as information. Take that information, turn it into clarity. Once you have that clarity, you turn it into a strategy. This is how I operate. There are moments where I and my team, we are working on a project very tremendously affecting us. But what do? We don't see those failures as bringing us down. Rather, we see those failures as feedback. And you know what we do with that feedback? We turn it into knowledge. That knowledge will be used and applied in another scenario where we are facing that same thing. And when we apply that knowledge in the right way. That is a strategy. That is a way of implementing a strategy that works almost all the time. So once we have failed, no, we don't take it as a blame. We don't criticize others. We don't accept failure. Rather, we embrace it in a way that is different from people who see it as attacking their personality. So take failure as information, then do what is needed to achieve your project. Before we continue, I need you to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. That is the simple way that you can support us with everything that we do here. If you value leadership, if you value communication, and most importantly, project management, then hit that subscribe button and we will stay together and grow together. Our next point that we have to understand is great project managers know how to turn chaos into clarity. This is it. Clarity is very important. Chaos is inevitable in your project. No matter how smart you are, no matter how intelligent you are, there are moments where you're going to experience that chaos. A key member is going to resign. That unrealistic date is just going to come overnight. Your vendors are going to pull down. They're going to pull out. They say, no, I don't want it anymore. I found a better option. It is inevitable. But in that moment, something very interesting happens. Do you know what happens? People follow where there is calmness. Not because calmness is the right way, but because it signals competency and it shows that, oh, this person knows the way. This person knows what we're supposed to do next. This person understands the vision. It signals competency. In that moment, great project managers know how to bring that clarity. They are creators of clarity, not because they are the smartest, not because they are experienced. It's simply because they put all the analysis together. They look at the risk analysis, they look at the stakeholder analysis, they look at the budget cost, put all these things together, and then they map out a way. In that moment, they simplify the noise. They know their priority. They know how to put the room down. Because when chaos knocks your door, you have to open it. And when you open it, now believe me or not, there's this myth about people saying great leaders are flawless. The reality is your leadership skills are always going to be needed. Leadership is not about perfection. It's about being present. In moments where the uncertainties appear, and what do? You don't disappear. You stay with them. You don't freeze. You don't hide behind excuses or spreadsheets. You are there. You tell your team that, all right, I get this. I'm here with you. I'm leading. Even though the path seems uncertain. That is how leadership works. But in those moments, there are leaders who just they disappear. Appear, disappear, appear, and disappear. That is not leadership. You think that leadership is about being perfect. It's about understanding every step of the way. No, that is not leadership. It's about being present. They lead through courage. They lead through clarity. That is how leadership functions. So, my friend, if you think that leadership is about knowing every step of the way, being perfect, then I hope you're listening to this. But if you are not listening, it is okay. Leadership is about being present, not being perfect. So go and work on yourself. Be present to your team. Let them know that you are here. Let them know that no matter how hard it is, they'll always have you. That is leadership. And here is something very powerful that I need you to understand. Projects are not just about tasks. They are not just about timelines. These are human systems. These are places where people bring their fear, their hopes, their frustration, their insecurity, their talent, and their brilliance. And your job as a leader, as a project manager, is to move them towards something meaningful, build something very powerful. And this is the reality. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have all the experience. You don't need to know the fanciest tools or have every other answer to every other person's problem. No, you just need to have that courage. You just need to bring that clarity. What you need is that presence, because this is the reality. People don't go to the person that has the best plans when things fall apart. They go to the person that keeps them moving forward, because chaos is inevitable. As I earlier said, you're going to have limitations. You have to make sure that you walk in there, you have a decision to make, and you need to move them forward. That is the person that people run to. The person who has that presence, who understands them, they are going to come to you. And that, my friend, is leadership. If anything I've shared with you today resonated, if it sparked a thought, a question, or even just a feeling, please do me a favor. hit that subscribe button. And my promise to you, alongside with my team, is very simple: to consistently bring you real, honest, and valuable content that helps you figure out project management, leadership, communication, one step at a time. Thank you for being here.